All right. Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of the Quad Pod. I'm Coach Greg, joined by Marilyn, Rich, and James. What's up, everybody? How are you doing?
What's up?
Muy bueno.
Hi.
I think you think, what are you going to say all week? Like it's running through your head. Like
It just happens right at that moment.
does it? It just comes
So
out?
talented.
Yeah.
Yeah. Multilingual. Man of many words. Hope everybody's having a good week out there in podcast land. And thank you for listening. This episode is going to start, this is going to be part one of a 3-part series, I think, where we're going to look at sort of how to train for all 3 disciplines of triathlon. So we thought this time of year is a great time. Everybody's starting to get back into the swing of things. There's still time to kind of make changes to the way you're doing stuff and really figure stuff out for spring, summertime races. So we thought we'd go into just kind of like what kind of things you should be thinking about and dive a little bit deeper than we've done in the past into the 3 disciplines. So break it down into 3 sports, an episode for each. And hopefully by the end of it, you guys have a much better idea of how to attack some of your rooms or areas for improvement. So we're going to start with the swim. How comfortable you guys feel with your swims where they're at right now?
I mean, I can always make it through.
Yeah.
If I don't have a panic attack. But I know there's a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah, I'd like to drop some time, but good in the water. I've been swimming since I was a kid.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think this is probably the one where most people have the most questions about, just because it's, if you're coming to it later in life, it's definitely a challenge to become competent at swimming. And even if you came to it like you were a swimmer as a kid, like transitioning as an adult into it and figuring out how to train to be a triathlon swimmer, I think is a lot different than how you might have trained if you were swimming in the pool in the summertime in summer league or something like that, or even a club swimmer. Like they're very different animals when it comes to how to train for them and stuff. So the stroke might be there, but how to train effectively for them might be pretty different. So hopefully we can do a good job of helping everybody out with that. So let's kind of talk real quick how, it's end of February. March is just around the corner. We've got probably about 14 weeks until our first big races, a little bit less than that till our first race. So what's your swimming look like right now, guys? How many times a week? How much yardage? That kind of stuff.
I'll go. I started building up to the distance of about 3,000 for a couple of years. And then once I got to 3, I'm kind of good there. And I do it a couple of times a week. But if I have to drop a workout like I did this week, I'm dropping one of the swims. Mm-hmm. It's definitely not necessary to do this much for the 2 70.3s that are my goals this year. However, I try to use the swim as the kind of non-impact sport where I could train a lot of maybe a lot's not the word, but train the cardio aspect of it.
Yeah.
And train kind of the endurance aspect through the fact that I'm swimming longer on the swim. So I don't just use it for the swim itself. I use it to supplement the other 2 disciplines as well.
Mm-hmm.
So how often are you swimming a week?
Yeah, how many days?
A couple of days a week.
And 3,000 each session or 3,000 total?
Each session.
That's a lot, right? I don't know.
It's not, I mean, you're going to get somebody who's going to shrug because you're going to get like the kids who swim every day.
Yeah.
And they're swimming like, 12,000 yards.
Most triathletes aren't swimming every day, I'd think.
Maybe not. But yeah, that's kind of like, I don't need the discipline twice a week, but I can definitely use it to help out like strength, cardio, other stuff.
Yeah.
I
Jane,
did.
Oh,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
James, how many yards your kids swim? Because your kids both swim club.
They only do singles. They're not as aggressive as some other clubs that do doubles, but I think they're always like 5,000 to 8,000 yards per session.
How many times
6 days a week.
See, 30,000 yards a week.
Yeah, 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's probably more than.
They usually swim anywhere from an hour to 2 hours per practice. So
yeah.
I know it's at least 5 to
5 would be a lot in an hour.
They don't stop.
Yeah,
they're just constantly go. I mean,
how many yards a session?
I'd say at least 5 to 8.
Okay, 5 times 6.
Yeah, 30K a week.
And it's nothing to them. They just don't know any better because they've done it since they were kids. Like
here's a pro tip: don't look at the kids swimming. You will get so disappointed.
Well, I saw a clip on either Instagram or YouTube today of a pro triathlete swimming against an 11-year-old in a 25 butterfly, and the pro triathlete got dusted. It wasn't even close.
Well, a couple weeks ago, my daughter, my 9-year-old daughter, was in a meet, and she was in the 10 and unders. So I think they had as young as 6 or 7, and there was the 200 free. And the earlier heats are slow because it's the younger kids, and slower to fastest in the heat order. And so one of the girls, I'm watching her, you could tell she's young. She doesn't have her form down yet, and she's kind of just struggling to make it through the last person. And I think she still swam like a 3:48. 200 free, and I look back at some of my like CSS times, and like I'm doing like a 3:30, 3:20 something. If I, after the 400, I'm like, I pretty much look like this 6-year-old girl. Like she looks better than I do in the water, and it's just amazing. Like they're even though like she's not fully developed into swim, they have technique, they have the engine built in already. Whereas for us, at least for me, I struggle to.
It's so hard.
I have the engine that's just really old.
It's got a lot of miles.
So how many times are you swimming in a week?
Me, once if I'm lucky right now, but only because I had some different priorities.
Yeah.
So now,
14 weeks out. Greg reminded you.
Yeah. So it's time. So it looks like at least once a week, probably twice now.
He's like, for those not on video, he looked around the room before he finished that sentence.
I just do whatever it says.
Marilyn, over to you.
So I did a 6-week swim block where I was swimming 3 times a week. Now I'm only swimming twice a week though.
That was like November, December?
Into January.
Oh wow.
Yep.
December to January.
How many yards?
They were all at least 25 to 28, somewhere more.
And now?
Now they're about 22 to 25, right, I think.
So how'd it go?
Good. Yeah, good. I think I improved by swimming that much. I think still have more work to do, but.
I got back in the pool for the first time this week.
Yes.
in a very long time.
He's saving his engine.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you may have seen the video. At least 500 people have.
Yeah.
When I last checked.
Something like that, right?
He's promising new tricks on the next one.
Yeah. I didn't promise anything. I find that for me, 2 times a week is kind of my bare minimum for maintaining where I'm at. 3 to 4 times a week, I start to see improvement. I find my feel for the water just gets better and better the more times I can get in the water. But it's really tough to fit, more than 3 sessions in a week is tough to fit with everything else that we're trying to do. So usually it's a balancing act. If I can get a couple of weeks, if I can rotate and go 4 one week, 3 the next week, and bounce back and forth like that, I kind of get to where I'm improving quite a bit and like feel really strong in the water.
So let me break that down. So you're saying, is it that you get a better feel if you get in 5 times a week and do 1,000 each time, or if you got in twice a week and did 2,500 each time is the same?
So I think I would do better if we're limiting it that much. Yeah, I think I would do better with 5 times 1,000 or 1,500.
Can you break that down for our listeners? Like, is that just the feel of the water, or is that just like consistency? Like,
it's just
what about twice a week doesn't do it the same?
So we're not used to being horizontal from we're not used to exercising. Yeah, that was a open mouth insert foot. You shouldn't take a drink. It's a bad time to take a drink, Rich. But like we're not used to trying to exercise that way. And I can't look at this guy. And the other thing is you're not used to being buoyed up by the water. You're only, you weigh 10%, or you feel like you weigh 10% what you do. your body's just not used to moving that way. So the more times you can expose it to that, the better the kind of neuromuscular connections are. And I think you just swim better.
So if you have just 2 sessions a week, how should that look? Like, do both workouts, are they just similar, or are you testing different systems?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think it depends on what you're doing in your other workouts, right? So I've always felt that it's a little bit easier to push intensity in the swim just because, like Rich said, it's not weight bearing. So you don't kind of do the same, for lack of a better term, damage to yourself with the swimming. I don't know if there's any actual science to back that up. I just feel like you don't beat yourself up as much swimming as that kind of time as you would if you were to run that amount. So I think you can recover from it a little bit faster. I think you can push a little bit of intensity every time you're in the pool, but not like, I don't think you should like drag yourself out of the pool every session. I kind of like to have one endurance sort of day. And that's where I like if I can get 3 days a week and I'll do 2 sort of like a speed session, a tempo session, and then the third day is just endurance stuff. If I can get a 4th day, that's going to also just be an endurance day.
What does a speed session look like versus an endurance?
Okay, so for me, what I like to do with the speed sessions is like really short intervals, 25s and 50s, at a little bit faster than race pace. There might be some, like every once in a while, I'll do like really fast 25s where I'm just trying to like swim as hard as I can. But I kind of like to do those in little chunks during an endurance day. So I might like warm up a little bit and then do 4 or 8 25s real hard with a decent amount of rest, and then go into my endurance set and go that way. But then like a speed set for me might be a chunk of 25s or 50s, a little bit faster than race pace with 15 to 20 seconds rest per interval. And I'm just trying to get a feel for swimming at the speed I want to race at. So it's not all out, but it's, it's definitely hard. And then an endurance day is just going to be like high end endurance, low end tempo sort of, we talked about CSS. You mentioned CSS, which is like your threshold pace. Just going a little bit faster than that. I'm sorry, other way around. A little bit slower than that. So you're not like right at threshold. You're just kind of, you're not loafing it, but you're also not breathing super hard.
These are in your future, pretty sure.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
I think swimming lends itself to having a lot of good different abilities to do different things in the water. So one of the things that I like doing, especially now, is actually building long sets in the beginning and doing the short ones at the end. So like your arms or your...
At the end of the session? Or
it's like your third set, not your first 2, right?
Gotcha.
So like if you do the one that I put in for this week, you're going to be doing like 200s and then you're doing the 25s at the end, because I want to improve the feeling of, now I feel like fatigued and now I want to focus on form and pushing it towards the end, which I think gives a little bit of a different benefit than, like doing them in the beginning. So there's a lot in swimming. Like there's no right or wrong here. It's just there's a lot in swimming to do that you could do different things in.
Yeah, because I think it's probably the only one. I mean, every once in a while I'll do form stuff with your run, but like you don't really think about your form too much in cycling or running. So swimming has that added component where your form is really important. And like Rich said, like your form tends to break down when you get tired, and it is good to make sure you work on that and pay attention to it when you're tired, because everybody can look their best when they're first getting in the pool. So
and it seems like with the swim, that form and technique is so much, like going to add so much to your performance and your
100%
speed just by doing it right, versus like running, cycling. There's kind of a band you can operate in and you'll be fine. But swimming just seems like 90% technique.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I remember when I first got back to triathlon or got into triathlon, coming from being in absolutely horrific shape. And like I got in the pool and like, yeah, if I did a 500 all out, I would be wiped, but it was still pretty decent speed. You know, it wasn't slow because the technique was still there. That muscle memory doesn't go anywhere. So it's easier to remember how to do that stuff.
So we touched on some drills there. So let's talk about some drills and whether it's worth doing them.
You guys have favorite drills?
I hate them all.
Yeah.
Really?
How come?
Because usually it exposes how bad I am with my balance, my just, you know, like usually it ends up water is rushing down my mouth. It's what's happening with, or up my nose with any drill, or it's very uncomfortable. It exposes how like I'm not engaging my core. So it's so uncomfortable that I just hate doing them, but then I need to be doing them.
Right. Especially if they make you feel uncomfortable like that. Like that's the point. I think that's the benefit of them, is if you're doing the right drill, you know, it's going to have a benefit, and you're probably going to feel uncomfortable doing it because it's, like you said, it's exposing something that you need to work on.
I think the favorite ones are the ones that make you improve. For me, finger drag really improved. High elbow and like finger drag improved significantly. The fist drill improved for me the feel of the water more than catch-up drills or anything like that. And the flick drill or something like it really improved also, like the extension and the technique. Like those to me were really good, and I struggle with kicking drills. Yeah. Luckily it's not.
I love them.
Oh, do you? I struggle only because
I don't know why.
When I do them, I get more tired.
Well, yeah, you get tired. My legs get really tired. Yeah, but I like them.
So, yeah, but that's why.
I love catch-up drills, my favorite. And then what's the one on the side? When you just swing one arm forward on the side.
Like the side rotation kind of.
Yeah.
Like one arm.
Then you rotate.
Are you swimming?
Yeah, one arm. No.
You're taking a stroke?
Like a side kick?
Yeah,
kicking
just swimming on your side. Yeah.
Okay.
I hate that one.
You don't like kicking drills?
If I wear fins, if it's a little bit better.
It's easier with fins, yeah.
But yeah, Greg saw me. I like snake through the water.
Yeah. Room for improvement.
It's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
So much potential.
Paddles improved my stroke a lot.
Yeah,
I don't know if you consider those drills, but
no, yeah, I think so. I think you can use paddles for a bunch of things, and drills are one of them. They help, again, exacerbate. Is that the right word? No.
Worse.
Exaggerate. Exaggerate like the feel for the water. Like you can feel the water better because you're grabbing more of it. So, yeah, it's funny. We did that video for the swim clinic we're doing, and I've picked up on something that I can work on, and I started, like when I went to the pool again on Wednesday, I put some sculling drills in with my warm up just to get to improve the bottom part of my stroke. I was coming way too towards the midline, like in the middle of my catch. I was coming close to crossing over. So I put a couple of sculls in there, and just to get a feel for the way my hands should be moving through the water.
I feel ridiculous doing sculls.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because you're not going anywhere. But if you put fins on and do them and just pay attention to what you're feeling, and you know, it's better than the people who just walk through the pool. You know, when I went on Wednesday, it was 4 lanes were taken up by people walking.
Oh, what time did you go at?
8.
9 o'clock.
That's why.
That's when they come. Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually go at like 8:15, 8:20, and all the lanes are taken up by them.
Yeah.
The walkers in the pool.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys go to some shady pools.
It reminds me of Cocoon.
But they haven't been in the Cocoon yet.
No.
Please put comments up if you're also swimming in pools that people just walk in, apparently. Like I've seen them running in the pools.
Yeah.
Lifetime was like that too.
Lifetime was like that too.
There's always the walkers.
Just
like
walkers?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nobody puts on that thing and like does the water running. They're just
Yeah.
Yeah, or like floating and like slowly.
Well, it's slowly floating, I've seen. Like
then
that's
in
a
the
thing.
beginning, they would complain that the pool was cold. I'd be like, well, you're barely moving. Of course it's cold.
Yeah.
So,
what drills do you think are worth it?
I think it depends on the person. I think I don't think there's a set of drills that works for everybody, and I think it'd be wasting a lot of people's time to just give them 4 drills and say, okay, every day you're going to run through these 4 drills. I think everybody has different things they can work on, and really a drill is just trying to get you to feel something with your stroke that you don't feel while you're swimming. So it's if you're doing the catch-up drill, it's to try and feel like that extension at the very end of your stroke and get your hand way out there and really feel like you're grabbing water at the start of your stroke. If it's the fingertip drill, it's to feel that nice high elbow or whatever. If it's kicking on your side, it's to feel that rotation going. Like every drill has a purpose, and it's just to get to really magnify that feel. So there isn't one drill that works for everybody. I like the catch-up drill. For me is something I almost, as I warm up, that's just like my go-to. I'm just naturally kind of doing that. And then other things, it's just like when I need to feel something, I've come up with a drill that makes it feel. That's it.
And generally, it's always good to do that at the beginning of your swim session.
I'll just do it like when I need to swim easy. Like if I'm doing sets and then a little bit easy to kind of loosen up between them, I'll throw a couple, I'll just do drills there. Yeah. I think there's a lot of leniency and leeway with how you do it. I don't think there's one best way. It's good, I think, to do them at the beginning to kind of ingrain that feel. But then like I'll use the paddles to again, get a good feel for the water and then go into a set, So I think everybody's different. You can play around with it. I don't think there's one right way to do it.
Sometimes when you use paddles in the beginning too, then after I feel, I don't know, it just feels better.
Yeah.
I can't explain it, but
yeah, I think
my
you
arms
make that
feel better.
Yeah, I think you make that connection of like how to grab the water. And then when you take the paddles off, you still have that feeling. So yeah, absolutely.
So how do you know if you're getting better?
You're getting
It's the
faster.
question of the century. Not necessarily. Though.
Yeah, I don't know if it is that always. Like obviously you want to get faster, right? But
you're just looking over at the guy in the next lane walking and you're going much faster than
because I think especially in triathlon, we're not necessarily looking for the fastest time. We're looking for the easiest time, right? Like
you want to come out the least tired.
Yeah.
At the end of
That's why I like it. It's like the technique and the effort. So if I come out like a good technique, good fast swim, but the effort's not like I wiped.
Yeah.
Right. Because a couple of seconds faster for the same effort really doesn't net you that much more time in a race. Like if I have to work the same to, let's say, so if I can swim like a 30-minute 70.3 split and I can go 2 seconds faster per 100, that's only 38 seconds faster.
It's nothing.
But that 2 seconds can cost, like if it costs me the same amount of energy, like do I need to be that much fast? I'd rather be 38 seconds slower and use a lot less energy and come out more ready to get after the bike. So I don't know if it's always about getting faster as much as it is about becoming more efficient at the speeds that you need to be swimming at.
I've always heard that saying, you can't win the race on the swim, but you can lose it.
Yeah.
And I think it was, and like I feel like there's a double meaning. Like you can lose it by if you're just too slow and it's just the field is way ahead of you, but you could probably lose it too if you just destroy yourself on it and then just sets you up poorly for the bike and you're just wiped now. You're trying to catch up. So I think it's just about finding, what is that comfortable pace that will set you up for the rest of the race.
Yeah.
I think I did the math once, but I don't remember anymore. Like what distance swim it has to be proportional to the amount of time we're biking and running. And the mile is not proportional. In any
No,
way.
it's not
think
even close. It's
like a 10K swim or something like that. It's
No, it wouldn't. Well, I mean, let's
for
say
70.3. I think it's like a good 5-6 miles. Because then you're doing 56-mile bike and a half marathon.
Yeah, I mean, it's the bike is going to take you close to somewhere around 2.5, 3 hours. The run is going to take you, let's round it off to 2 hours. So you need to swim for that long.
Let's see, like maybe an hour swim, right? So an hour and a half.
Yeah,
we can invent a new race.
But I think that's why it's not done. Because imagine the field would just go way down.
And I think that's
it.
I think that's where, like, so let's call it on average we swim twice a week. I think that's where that comes from because, like, how good do you really need to be? On an average triathlete is not a great swimmer. They're okay.
You know, the guy at our pool reminds us of that every day.
Gosh.
Is he walking next to you while you're swimming?
He's
very
watching
judgmental.
He likes
everything.
to talk.
Yeah.
Very judgmental.
Yeah. I met him once, and he did he come
Made an
He
impression.
might be listening.
He's like the star of this podcast, and he doesn't know it.
Yeah.
We
Did
could
he
have him
come?
on.
He came and like sat down on the
Yeah.
pool deck with me.
Oh,
Like
so
I was in the pool, and he like came over and like sat down next to me, and I'm like, that's weird.
That means he's impressed, I think.
Yeah. What was the first thing he said?
Oh, okay. So he
Should
knew
we
I was a
do this now?
triathlete. Yeah. He knew I was a triathlete. Maybe because I walked in with a next level water
That's
bottle.
it. That was it. That was it.
He knew that. And then we got to talking, and this podcast
Should we go on?
is brought to you by the Finnish long drink. Guys, if you haven't tried the Finnish long drink,
It's
it
really
is
good.
really
Yeah,
delicious.
that's what it's called? Finnish?
Yeah.
Finnish long drink. They're
Like from Finland?
Yep. They're delicious. They come in 3 different styles and they're all good.
So good.
So, yeah, so we started talking. I think he was trying to get a feel for like me as a swimmer right off the bat. He was asking me all kinds of questions, and I think I had the right answers. Like, so he knew like I wasn't.
He probably wanted to see if you were the coach that I told him about.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. I didn't bring up that I was a coach though, because I didn't want to have that conversation with him. But he was, it was interesting. Yeah. He's an interesting cat.
The double benefit of wearing earplugs. I just go, can't hear you.
Yeah. So, but I think like you get stuck in that. How much more do I have to work to get marginally better? And when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, it's like, well, how much faster can I really get?
Yeah.
What's the return you're going to get on the time you're putting in?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. What's
Is
your
it-
ROI? And
So I would argue that your ROI on the swim can be really good because if you put in more time, you're building your aerobic capacity in the water.
right. But I don't think most people see that.
Fair, but I think that's where the ROI is.
Yes.
It's building your aerobic capacity through swimming, which is building the same aerobic capabilities, but you're not doing it at the impact of the bike and the run.
Yeah. And I think that like when you look at for everybody, unless you have a 25-yard pool in your backyard, getting to the pool is a hassle, more so than cycling or running is. So it takes, you got to add, let's call it at least 30 minutes or 45 minutes to the time you're actually swimming. And so like it's one of those, if you're going to drop a session, you're probably going to do that. You're like, it's only 10% of the race, why add an extra swim in? But I think you're right. I think it can have benefits in the bike and the run, even if it doesn't translate to huge time savings,
So to go back on what Rich said with the like cardio or the aerobic benefit, is it because that there's no impact on it, then you're fine to go into those zone 3s, zone 4s, where especially like on a run, the zone 3 is marginally better, but you might hurt yourself.
Right.
Is there less chance?
Yeah, there's
to
less
hurt
chance you're
yourself?
going to hurt yourself.
So
right?
then getting that marginal.
Yeah. I mean, you still have the physiological side of going above those thresholds and stuff. And you need to recover from those, on like a cellular and neurological level. But there's not the impact side of things. So
you still have to,
Your
those
body will
cortisol
still
levels.
feel
And
Let's
fight or
just
flight.
take
yes.
a simple example in my head. If you go swim for 2 hours and then go run for 2 hours, and I think that if you put in an equivalent amount of effort, you can get a good amount of aerobic build through the swim without putting your body through the pounding of the run.
Yes. Yeah, I'd agree with you completely.
But we need
But
to
you
train
need
our
the
legs.
run. Yeah.
Right.
The swim won't train you for the
I'm
run.
not saying you get away completely.
Right. You couldn't
I'm
just
just
swim
saying
and do
people
it.
Yeah.
underestimate how much aerobic capacity you can
Yes.
build
Right.
by swimming.
Yeah, I think what people do is they break these things down into the 3 different things and think there's very little carryover from one to the next. And then the idea is, well, if I'm going to swim all this time and I'm only going to be 2 minutes faster, why do it? Like, it's just not worth it. When in reality, it's what you're saying. Yeah, you might be 2 minutes faster, but you also might run 10 minutes faster because you didn't dig yourself a hole in the swim. And now you have those reserves to pull on later on in the race. So yeah, I think there's value to it, but again, it's the shortest part, and it's one that people like to probably not give the amount of time that it deserves, because the result isn't always there on the clock. So,
So we say getting faster doesn't necessarily mean you're better.
No, getting faster is always better.
Well, I guess I've gotten my swim times, like my CSS stuff down, but then my recent like videos we've taken, I'm like, man, my form is terrible. So I'm just like brute forcing it.
Yeah.
And then just like conditioning myself to swim like inefficiently. But in reality, like after seeing video, which I feel like is such a great tool now, it's like, all right, if I can just fix these flaws,
right,
then with much less effort, I could get this same time.
Well, what'll happen is with much less effort, you're going to go way faster.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same time. So you're still going to get faster.
But the video is definitely exposed.
Yeah, video's great. You are not doing what you think you're doing in the water.
In my head, like I think I'm, Michael Phelps or whatever. And then I see my video, I'm like, man, I am like noodling in the water. Like,
yeah, I think video has a huge, and even if it's just, a friend who can videotape you, and then even if you don't have a coach to look at it or whatever, just being able to see what you actually look like. I think most people who are in this sport could probably pick out one or two things that they can improve on,
It's like we were talking about. You go running past a window front. You're like, I'm so fast.
Yeah.
No.
Nope. Yeah. Yeah. Video is huge. If you can't have a coach on deck, which I think very few people have the ability to do, video is probably as close as you're going to get to that.
Yeah. And if you have the opportunity to do a swim clinic and they offer video both above and below the water, you got to jump on it.
Just so happens that we have one coming up.
Exactly. Right.
How convenient.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, see what's going on above and below.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's going to be good for the people who take advantage of it. I think having 4 sets of eyes on you, picking out those drills that are perfect for you to focus on and stuff like that is going to be valuable for everybody who takes part in it.
Invaluable.
Invaluable, maybe.
So valuable.
What's the difference between valuable and invaluable?
I guess you get to a point where beyond valuable becomes
you can't price it. Can't put a price on it.
Can't put a price. Well, we did put a price on it.
That's why we're giving it away
for 4 sessions, an hour and 15 minutes per session, right?
$199. Can't beat that.
Yep.
So good.
I wish I had that when I was starting out.
I know. Yeah.
We'd all be swimming like
just
Greg.
got thrown into the pool and said, "You'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Just don't give up."
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, especially when they're starting out, probably feel worried to ask for help.
It is, yeah. And you go to some of these pools. I started at Lifetime. It's intimidating.
Yeah.
I would get in the pool with the old people, the hot pool.
The hot pool?
The hot pool, because it's, all these people are swimming. You don't know what you're doing. You don't even know if you're doing it right, wrong, nothing.
Yeah.
Especially when you get the guy that's doing flip turns with you and like swimming underneath you. And like, whoa.
But
I always wonder if the guy who's swimming in the lane who doesn't know that I'm competing with him is like annoyed by that. Like,
I do that
does he
too.
know? Because
probably not.
He doesn't know it.
Yeah. That's fun to do.
Yeah.
What's next?
Well, what do we got next?
CSS.
Yeah, I think that's a good measure of whether you're getting better or not. So CSS test is you do a 400 meters, yards, doesn't matter. 400 effort. It's supposed to be all out. And then you take a period of time as a break. And the amount of time differs where you read about it. But a decent enough break so you get your breath under control, your kind of heart rate comes down. Sometimes you do a couple of easy 25s or something like that. And then you do a 200 all out and you plug those numbers into a calculator online and it spits out your CSS or your threshold. And you can keep an eye on that. It's a pretty easy test to do and see if you're improving. I think those numbers come down, you're getting better. Some kind of metric that you can use. I like to use test sets too, like a standardized set of, for me, like 10 100s is kind of a good go-to set. Like if I can do 10 100s on this interval and this amount of rest, then I want to kind of see that interval I come in on come down each time I do that set.
So like a common one is 1050s on the minute.
Yeah.
And so like that's what kind of as Greg is talking about. So if you're doing 1050s on the minute and you're resting 10 seconds, and then, the next time you do it, you're resting 12 seconds. And the next time you're doing it, you're resting 15 seconds. You're improving.
So, Rich, last time you had mentioned with the bike that you enjoy FTP tests now because you don't do the standard FTP test. Do you also enjoy CSS tests because you also cheat on that test with something else?
Why is a ramp test cheat? I do CSS, but I also do the standard sets because I like I want to see in a repeatable kind of tests outcomes, repeatable like 200s, 100s. Like
I think the pool more than bike and run lend themselves to just kind of knowing where you're at because the pool doesn't change day to day, So if you're swimming faster, you're swimming faster. Like it's very, you got the pace clock, you got same length pool,
what about the walker next to you? You got to get around that guy.
Yeah. So, all right. How about toys? What kind of stuff do you guys like to play with in the pool?
Well, I mean, I love the pull buoy.
Yeah.
But it's because I'm a lazy swimmer.
Yeah.
I use it in a way where the other coach, Greg, hates it because then it lets me like not use my core. I just float around, let it like let me float, which is probably just ingraining more bad habits in me. But
because is it maybe not helping? Didn't you say before that your core, you don't engage your core? So is that?
I think because I like to just swim lazily with that and
so
some paddles.
Someone like James, does that mean you shouldn't use?
Yeah, probably.
Should throw that away.
Yeah,
or put it between my ankles.
Just keep it in case you get a leg cramp, and then stick it between your legs and swim.
Yeah. So I do love that, but I'm using it wrong.
Yeah, I think
paddles.
Pool buoy is a good one. I think it's more of a diagnostic tool almost. Like if you get a lot faster with a pool buoy, there's something there. Like there's something you need to worry about. I think it's good to I think it's a good tool to rest your legs. If you swim on Monday after a hard bike on Sunday or a long run or something, then cool. Pull, rest your legs, get an aerobic workout, but don't stress your legs anymore. So use it almost as like a recovery tool. If you use it right with paddles, then it's more of a strength workout. So it's a versatile kind of piece of equipment, but you have to know how to use it. If it's just because you like it because you're swimming faster, it's probably not the best reason to be using it.
Are you faster when you use it?
I don't usually measure my speed while I'm using it because it usually means I'm doing a very relaxing, slow, just easy recovery. Right. I should try. Maybe I'll try doing a fast set with it, and maybe I'll do my CSS with this on.
Maybe
tomorrow.
You could do two CSS.
That sounds terrible.
Why don't you do two CSS tomorrow?
Maybe
one with a po buoy and the other
horrible.
without.
Does it?
A CSS with that?
You hate the po buoy though.
I do.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
What do you hate about it?
I can't swim with it. Like I'm terrible with it. I don't know. Maybe that's because there's something wrong. Greg's like, I'm not going to say anything. Yeah.
I don't know.
That'll be interesting. I should just see do 100, one without, one with, and see what the difference is.
I'm better with it, but I still. Yeah.
I would suspect I'll be better with the pull buoy.
Probably
because I do my hips drop.
Mm-hmm. Paddles. Everybody uses paddles, right?
I love paddles.
Yeah. The only problem I've got with paddles is it slows my stroke down a little bit too much. Like I already have a pretty slow stroke rate, and paddles makes it a little bit worse.
But the slightest mistake you make with a paddle is so obvious.
Yes.
In the water.
Yeah.
Like your hand entry, your pull, your turn, rotation, everything, wrist straight, just shows up right away.
One of the things that's nice to do is take that bottom strap off the paddle. And so it's only connected on your finger because then, like what you said, anything that wobbles or whatever, it'll flutter on your hand.
I don't put the bottom piece. Just put your
if you can hold your paddle, you probably
can
need
get a
bigger,
small paddle.
That's what. If you can do that, you probably need bigger paddles.
So I do the opposite. I learned this other drill, and I would just hold. It's almost like the fist drill.
Don't do that.
Who
told you that?
Gurgly.
Gurgly.
So he's like, do this, and it was forcing me to really.
Okay. I see
get
what
my
you're
high
saying.
elbow.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
Debatable.
Is it because you were bending your wrist?
I don't know. I do a lot of bad things, but it was helping me get into that high elbow position and use my whole forearm.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'm not against it.
You just said don't do it. That's all.
He gave a good reason for it, though. I thought
Your
he was
face
doing
says something completely different.
I thought he was doing it just so that it, like, I don't know, so it didn't flutter on your hand.
He tries to hide what he's thinking, but it's like all right there.
Yeah.
So one thing I really want to be able to use, and I hate, is the snorkel.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like so claustrophobic, and I even bought one of these silly like toppers.
Yeah, what is that?
It's like a check valve.
That's what you use when
So
you
water
snorkel. Yeah,
Yeah.
water can't get in.
So the
Get in.
bird can't.
So like, because
So you can't pour alcohol.
sometimes when I swim with it, I don't know if it's like a rogue stroke. I'll like
A
throw
rogue-
water into
rogue
my
wave.
my own snorkel, and then like water just shoots down, and then I just like
It keeps
panic.
the water from going down.
This is
Use that when you
ridiculous.
snorkel.
But sometimes I like breathe in too hard that it sets the ball in the check valve to like lock it in.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, and I panic. So I get so much panic with this thing that I just can't use it. But
I think that's a great tool
It
for
is.
like rotation and form and everything else.
Yeah. I think a lot of people sway side to side when they're swimming, and you can put all the tools on at once and use paddle, pull buoy, and the snorkel. And if you really want to go nuts, you get a band for your ankles, and then like it forces you to really be taut in the water and like that, keep that torpedo shape going.
Where do you put the brick? Do you put it on the back or do you put it in the pull buoy? What are those two Coke bottle things called? There's like a
The any buoy.
Yeah,
ENE.
tell me about that one.
It's just a pull buoy.
But it's supposed to be more effective for something.
It's better
right?
than this, I think.
It's
I feel
it's
like it's
like you
easier
said,
to
it
use.
looks like two Coke bottles that are screwed together. They're air filled and they have caps on them. So if you really wanted to, and I've done this one, I filled up one of them with water, so you can fill them up and get a little bit more drag, because it's like, or not, I guess drag's not the right word. You're gonna have to be forced to hold your body up in the water properly, because it's not floating your legs anymore. It's you have to
Like a
resist that.
parachute.
It's like a weight.
Drags you.
Yeah, but I don't know how much of a weight it's filled with water. It's filled with the same
True.
stuff you're in. Like,
I don't know.
it's like almost neutral.
yeah. So I guess having to hold it between your legs and all that, like you're forcing yourself into a good position. I don't know how much it actually weighs you down. Maybe I'll try it tomorrow and fill them up.
So going back to the snorkel, because I need to get over my own
Sure.
fear. How do you use this thing without water just constantly
What?
getting in?
Into your snorkel?
Yes.
You need to take a swim clinic. We happen to be offering one next.
Like-
How are you getting water if the
Right,
snorkel's
it's like
here
up
and
here.
you're pushing? How is there water getting
I don't.
in?
Maybe I have
Are
a
you
defective
diving with
snorkel,
it?
But then
Like,
that's,
what is happening?
there's always like water building up like down
Maybe.
here. And I'm like, does this thing
It's getting-
eject water so that I don't breathe it in?
I know. Get a new non-broken snorkel.
Is
Yeah,
that what
maybe
this
there's
is?
something wrong with it.
Can I say it?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, it's possible, but no.
You can have mine. I
I mean,
haven't used it ever.
I barely use it, so it should like, I don't
Yeah,
think.
it shouldn't.
As Greg puts it in his mouth.
I was
Tries to
gonna.
breathe.
I'm like, oh, we shouldn't.
I always get water will go up my nose while I'm using. I have to kind of focus
Yeah,
on
that's-
keeping pressure in my
It's like you, like,
nose.
tried to
It's so
tape
hard.
this to your head or something. Like
I don't
what's-
know. It's like, yeah, I just noticed. Oh, you got
It's
it
a
off.
packaging.
That's how much he tries
So-
to use it. The packaging's still on there.
My kids, when they use these all the
All
time,
the time.
and they do flip turns,
Mhm.
and
Oh my
they like
gosh.
blow hole it out when
Yeah.
after the flip turn. So like, I don't even know what they're doing
Mhm.
during the flip turn, so that they're not just sucking in water.
Luckily,
Blow it
there's a
out.
swim clinic.
They're
coming
not
up.
inhaling.
But like, it's. I mean,
You
so
blow it out. Did you ever snorkel?
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
but
That says no.
That's a no.
Yeah, his
That's a-
face says no.
I don't like to
But-
go. I
well,
was
that's it.
Under.
You go under. When you come up, then you blow it out.
So
Yeah.
when you go under, isn't
I don't
your
flip turn,
snorkel
so-
is full of water? No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you have a whole column of water
Before
in there.
you
Uh-huh.
breathe, though, you got to blow it out.
You have to save enough air
Well, before you
That's-
inhale.
to come
Yeah,
out.
that's it.
Yeah,
That's-
your
exhale.
exhale
That
is
may be
Okay.
my problem. I don't think I have enough.
Yeah,
air.
you don't.
It
you
always
have to
catches me off guard, and I don't have enough breath to clear it.
What time are you going swimming tomorrow? Maybe we'll.
6:30.
Okay. Yeah, 6:30. Oh, that's nice. I'll go.
Nice.
We'll work on your snorkel technique.
Yes.
I'm leaving mine at home. Oops.
I carry it with me every time. Never use it.
Do you?
I try. I've tried.
I think it's a great tool. I think it's a really good, when we got them for all the kids on our swim team, and they're warm up every day. They're in there, paddles, pool buoy, and snorkel.
I'll commit to it once I know how to use it safely.
I'll tell it does take some time. The first day of swim practice, it's kind of funny to watch when we hand out the snorkels and we're like, okay, 500 snorkel, go. And I
have to think about breathing.
Yes.
Like sometimes I'll breathe through my nose by accident.
Yeah.
And it really catches me off guard.
Yeah.
Next week's podcast, I'm here with two of my other coaches.
James isn't able to be here. He's still getting over a near drowning event.
That's what I feel. But so I want to use that as a tool because I feel like it induces that panic I feel sometimes during
I don't
races.
think that's a good reason to use it. I think the benefit is it'll work on your body position. It'll force you to, like, when you add the breath in, it's hard sometimes to get back to that center point, and like just this takes that rotation out of the play, having to take the breath, and you can focus on the other stuff.
Yeah. I'll commit to it. I just, need some pointers.
Yeah, we'll work on it. It could just be a positioning thing. Like if you have it where your head is pointing and stuff like that, like you could, some people swim with it and the tip is just an inch or two out of the water because they're looking so far down. I don't think anybody looks up high enough where it's like the tip is in the water behind them, but I guess anything's possible.
I am a low head guy, so I need to.
Yeah. Okay. You got nothing. Nothing for that.
Not a high head. There is a snorkel I saw where it's like a 90-degree.
Oh, have you seen?
Back?
Oh, please!
Yeah, but it looks
you guys
like that.
Gotta look this thing up on. Oh, what the hell is it called? It's got two. They come around.
What?
They come around the side.
Why do
like
you
the
need
Max.
two?
I think I saw that in a movie character.
It's like Bane. It's like the turbo snorkel or something crazy like that. It's like $200. It's stupid. But you could be the dumbest looking person at the pool if you got it.
Yeah.
I think we just got banned from turbo snorkel.
Yeah.
Well, I heard the downside to that is that you want your shoulder and chin close.
Yeah, I think it'd be very.
You're going to not want to have it there.
So, what else? What other kind of stuff we got?
Oh, we're still on that.
No, I think that's it, right? Nobody uses any other.
What else is there?
Does anyone wear
There's the
drag
band,
shorts?
No.
Is anyone that hardcore? They just add drag to their swim?
I have like a drag suit. Like it doesn't have like pockets or anything on it, but it's like mesh on the outside.
There's a guy on Phoenix Masters. He always wears drag shorts. He's fast.
It's called the power breather.
Is it the power breather? That's it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
when I swam at NYU, the swim team was always in there. Like they all had drag shorts.
Mm-hmm.
They just wear them all the time.
Yep.
I have enough drag, so
yeah. I don't know if it makes that much.
I think that.
Yeah.
Some people use the tie or a band around your ankles, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that like adds another level to using the pool buoy.
Oh, fins.
Is it the same as the tire around my body? Like
it
also
that helps with buoyancy.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember when I was little. So before, when I was swimming, when I was a kid, before they had like all this like swim focused stuff, we had to buy a wheelbarrow inner tube to use for that. And that would like, I remember getting the list of like all the stuff you needed for the team. And it was like, okay, you need this meat suit, this many practice suits, like it's all the stuff, these kind of fins.
Suit made of meat.
That's what I heard too. Meat
Ribeye.
I was like, oh.
Ribeye.
He said meat suit.
Meat suit. Yeah, like the
did.
suit
For
you
the
wear in a meet,
swim
your
meet.
competition
Like
suit.
the race suit.
I like the meat suit though.
It's like Lady Gaga, right? Didn't she wear something
Oh my
like
gosh,
that?
yeah.
Yeah. So, and at the bottom, it was like 14-inch wheelbarrow inner tube, and I'm like, what the heck? They had to go to like Home Depot and get.
You can just use a bike.
No, because you twisted it and like put your feet in it, and it was the band, and you could. It was kind of neat. You could adjust how much air was in it, so your feet could float or not.
Oh, wow.
Like so, when you were starting out, you'd have a little bit of air in it, and then as you got better, you'd take the air out.
And then you tied your hands behind your back and
Yeah,
you just
you did
bobbed up and down.
drown proofing, right?
Yeah.
So, how many of you guys have done any kind of masters swimming stuff?
I did.
one summer.
What'd you think of it?
Actually, I think that's the best I ever got in swimming for conditioning wise. More had to wear fins the whole time. I didn't know how to do any of the other strokes, so it's just freestyle, sometimes backstroke a little bit, but I couldn't do breast or butterfly, and I would never make the intervals. So it was just nonstop swimming.
Oh, so you just swam straight for an hour?
I just swam straight for an hour.
Okay.
And it was like 4,000 yards each time, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even understand what they were barking out in the beginning, like the sets, because they weren't written down. It was just yell them out at the beginning, and then numbers
was
with
my
numbers.
Translator.
Yeah.
I was like, what did he say?
I heard numbers and then go.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
I think it would have been. I think I did it too soon in starting to swim. So I had only been swimming for like 3 or 4 months, and I think it was too soon.
Okay.
For me to be in that environment, it was a lot.
Yeah, I remember you sent me a message like
I was
after
like,
the first day. It's like, should I be here?
I don't
what's
belong
going on here?
Yeah. And I mean, I still did it for a little while. I don't think I finished it, but I did it for a bit, and it didn't hurt, but it was hard.
Yeah. But I think I got like my threshold for pain in the water increased.
Yeah, for sure.
Pain threshold in the water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a tough call. I think it has some really good value. I think finding a good group is important. Like I think some across, you can't make blanket statements about them, but sometimes you're going to have master's programs that are like more populated by triathletes. And then you'll have other ones that are more populated by like people swimming in meets or ex-swimmers who are just trying to stay in shape. And like, that's what they did. So that's what they do now. And you want to kind of find something that works for you. I don't know that doing that as your only, like if you found a group that was just master swimmers and you tried to do all their workouts and that's all you did, like you'd get good, but you probably wouldn't pulling the table down.
Almost knocked it all down.
Coach's round table if you pull the table down.
So I don't think you would get as much as you could because you're not going to do 500s or thousands. You're going to be doing, I think when I swam with them, if we did a big set was like 10 200s.
Right.
And
I could never complete the full distance. So I was doing even less than that.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, that is a huge set if you're not making the intervals.
Well,
I wasn't making, I could never make the intervals. So
you're just swimming.
I would stop when everybody else stopped, but I was not completing the distance that they were.
Which I think is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think your arms.
But I never had long sets then.
Yeah.
Then everything was short.
But we did lots of like 50s, 75s, and that kind of stuff. Those of you listening, James is just refilling everybody's ice. So
it's not noisy at all.
And the train's coming through. So it's just perfect. You did forget, I think, the most important part, though.
That's good.
There's only ice in my glass.
Where's the rest of them?
I don't know. They're over somewhere. So the Masters thing, I think, could be good. If I had like if I could plan it out perfectly, I'd love to do like one Masters workout a week.
Yeah, that would be good.
And it gives you some. Here, we might as well. While
variety.
we're making all these noises.
It gives. Oh my god. It gives variety.
It gives variety, and there's people there to like push you.
Mm-hmm.
There's
definitely. I push myself there more than I would have.
You're going to have people who are better than you. You know, which if you're swimming on your own, there's not always somebody there to push you. Mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of an important piece to it. So I think Masters could be very valuable. As long as you don't overdo it. I think. There are some master's programs that'll have 4 or 5 practices a week. And if you try and do every one of those, you might get a little beat up by doing all that. So I think we kind of touched on this a little bit, like what kind of benchmarks, how good do I have to be? So I looked up some numbers and I found a couple of websites that looked at this, and they literally took every half Ironman. They did it for Ironman too, but since we're only doing halves this year, I thought we make it applicable to us. So everybody else, but the numbers actually don't vary a huge amount across age ranges. And there's not a huge difference between Ironman pace and half Ironman pace. Actually, on average, Ironman pace is faster than half Ironman pace.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
That's because they're swimming with the current.
I think it's because people who commit to doing an Ironman
Are
train
stronger.
Better.
more, and so they get a little bit better.
So we'll be faster.
Yep.
2024.
Just have to sign up for an Ironman.
Yeah.
We'll be faster.
2024.
So the average pace across all age groups is about 40 minutes and 2 seconds, which is a 2:06 per 100 meters, which is like 1:59 per 100 yards. So most of us, all of us, I think, swim in a yard pool, at least in the wintertime. Men are a little bit faster. Women are more like 2:11, so 5 seconds or so slower. But again, that 5-10 second difference only accounts for like a minute in your total time. It's not a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
I did find that North Carolina, which is everybody's kind of real big race this year, is the third fastest swim on the 70.3 circuit, behind Oregon and Augusta, Georgia.
Oregon.
Which are downriver swims. So it's about, what did I put? 26 seconds per 100 faster than average.
Ooh,
so that could be a really fast
That's a
swim.
lot, yeah.
Like super fast. So it's to swim that distance at, let's call it 2 minutes per 100. I think pretty much anybody is capable of getting to that point. And then your average, and again, the difference between average and like top 10% isn't that much. I didn't put those numbers on here, but like top 10% men in our age group, well, actually not James, because now he's old.
Yeah.
But in the 40 to 44 age group, top 10% is like a 32-minute swim, and average is a 39-30 swim. So it's like it's 7 minutes faster, which, I mean, 7 minutes is a lot. But like,
not our hours and hours.
Yeah, we're not
on
talking
a 5 hour plus race.
Yeah. 7 minutes isn't a huge thing, and that's the difference between middle of the pack and top 10%. Like, so
maybe I'll only train once a week in the pool then.
then you're gonna run and bike more.
So, Greg, where are you on average on your 70.3 swim total?
Like 30 to 31 minutes.
So you're top 10%.
Mm-hmm.
Usually. That's in the age group.
Don't look at me. I'm not there.
Where are you at?
I don't know. I mean, it really depended on everyone.
37 or so.
Yeah, I think I've hit 35.
Wow.
Somewhere around there.
These are fast.
But yeah, like it
I
was
am not.
We're
pushing it.
not.
I'm above 40 minutes.
Oh, but it took me
Me too.
years and years and years and drills to
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah. I mean,
It was
It's only been a
like you
couple of years
guys
for us.
learn
Mhm.
way faster. Like it took forever, and I'm still trying to improve.
So I think the take home message is like, get competent, get comfortable, keep training, and you'll get to a point where your middle of the pack is completely attainable for pretty much everybody out there.
I don't know if we said it, but shaving seconds in a pool or whatever per 100 is, I don't know, maybe it's easy for some people, but it's hard. Like just seconds is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Not talking about like 10 seconds at a time. We're talking about like just seconds.
Well, Marilyn, you said that when you did that swim block, you changed something in your stroke, and you were like 7 or 8 seconds
Yeah.
per 100 faster. That's
Mhm.
massive, you know? So, how about open water swimming? How much do you guys feel that getting in the open water is important?
You practice where you race. And if you're racing open water, you should be in open
Mhm.
water every second you can. And
It's
if you
so
can,
different.
Yeah.
and if you can get your sets that you have the workout that is planned for the pool and you could do it in open water, do it in open water. There are no flip turns in a race. Just not that you should do flip turns, but there are no
So-
flip turns in a race. And you should just get in open water. You don't see the same. There's no lines.
If you're going to wag your finger like
totally
that,
I
look
know.
at the camera when you do it.
Why
Okay.
you-
totally
it must
different.
It must be the Mr. Rogers sweater.
It is. Totally swim in open water. Get
but
in.
be friendly about it.
Yeah.
It's hard though to find open water a lot of places.
Yeah.
Around here, it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw, I think last year when we did Muscleman, I always like to go on to like Instagram, see what people's like posts are, how they thought about the race. And I saw one guy, I think he had trained really hard, pool, bike, run, looked very fit, but he had never done open water ever. So he had talked about how he was like, what a shock it was. Like his swim was terrible. And that was clear water too. So at least that eliminated the murky, scary thing. But he just, in his post, he was just saying, he totally underestimated what it would be like swimming in the lake versus in all the pool training he did. And he was just caught off guard. So it ruined his race basically.
Yeah.
So
it is very different.
Like you can have someone, and I definitely know people who just do amazing in the pool and they get in open water and it's like they just learned to swim again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard. It's different. Not having a black line to follow, not having the flip turns, longer distances. Like there's a lot that makes it harder.
Yeah, longer distance without any pause.
Yeah.
you can't see the bottom a lot of times. So,
and if you can,
what are you gonna do? Like if you're stop, like
you can't. Sometimes where we
so,
swim,
what do you think that is? Like a fear thing?
Yeah.
If you've never experienced it before, that was when my first time swimming at the lake. That was my biggest shocker when I put my head in and I was like, I can't even see my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's nice knowing in a pool. If you're tired, you stop and you stand up.
Stand up.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to have faith that like you could just float. If
you have, hopefully you have a.
That's my other fear. That buoy thing. I always like think that it fell off. Like I don't know why. I just like because I catch it in the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
And I think it's way behind me. Like oh my gosh, it's gone. But yeah, it's there.
Do you think if we painted his buoy like in the form of like a shark, he'd swim faster?
Swim faster? Maybe that. What if we did that? What if we built those and sold them like shark-shaped buoys?
I think I'd just give up.
What if they were shaped like a fin and you dragged a fin?
Do you think people would swim faster if they had a headset on and the Jaws theme song was playing and they had to swim?
I would just give up. I think.
Yeah, I'd be like,
it's time.
Yeah.
Take one for the team.
If there's other people, it's just you got to be faster than them. Right?
That's true. You don't have to be the fastest.
Nope. Just don't be the slowest. Yeah. I think it's but it is tough to swim in open water. Like finding
and
opportunities.
sighting is that's hard to get used to too.
Even if you got to go to the beach once or a month or whatever, just
that's
go.
a whole nother level though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you got
waves and tides.
But better to do than not do and stay in the pool.
Right.
Right.
Are you like I don't even know the rule. Like on the Jersey Shore,
I know.
they
I don't
allow
think
you to.
Where
swim?
are you gonna? Yeah.
Coney Island.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
Okay.
I told you that one time I did at Asbury Park.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you do? Just go talk to the lifeguard and say, "Hey, this is what I'm going to do."
They had a buoyed area like marked off, but like it didn't go deep enough, or at least, or maybe that day the ocean was rough. Like it didn't go out far enough that you could get away from a lot of the waves. So it was just, I was so nauseous.
Yeah. Yeah, because we go down the shore every summer, and I feel like I want to just go for a swim, but I've never broached it with the lifeguard.
I went with my wetsuit and buoy thing, everything.
Yeah, yeah. I would think I would do the same thing.
Yeah, of course.
I've done it in Florida.
I've done it in Florida, but
Coney Island.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Maybe we should do a team trip down the shore, go swimming. Sighting's a big one, right? I think that's you're only going to practice that when you're in open water, and you're only going to get good at it the more you do it. So, you guys have any tips for sighting?
A lot of people will say sight whatever pole or thing they see. I look at the horizon and see if there's anything that's sticking out.
Yeah,
high up, so that and when I sight, I do it in the middle of my stroke, and then as I'm exhaling and my head is under, then I do the what did I see as I was stroking. Yeah.
That's what's hard. Sometimes I look up and I'm like, and then when I put my head back down, I'm like, I don't even know what I just saw.
Yeah, because your goggles are wet.
Yeah.
You're like, what
lots of arms flailing.
I didn't see a single thing that's helpful.
I just do the motion. I'm like, yeah, I'm practicing it.
And so what I do with that is I probably sight more frequently, but with the idea that I'm going to miss stuff. So I take much quicker, short looks, but more frequently. And then so I'm not going to, there are people you'll see who lift their head and Tarzan swim and look for their thing. And then they'll put their head in. And I think that just messes with your routine. I'll take my quick peek look and put my head back down and, like Rich said, like try and process it. And if I didn't see it, I didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll, 3 or 4 strokes later, I'll do the same thing. And like, if I do it enough, I'm going to see what I need to see.
Eventually you see something.
Yeah.
I see people like in the triathlon, which is annoying. You'll have a fast swim and then all of a sudden they'll just stop to like check where they are because they can just go and pick I'm like, oh God.
I'll get it the next time. Like if I didn't get it that time, and like I think just make it part of your routine and take really quick peeks and not like big long looks.
So I always take the poll of when you're going in the open water. Do you think that open water swimming, we said, is different, but is it different stroke rate? Is it different effort? Is it different hand entry? I know some people will say my hand entry in open water is different than my hand entry. It's less clean or more clean or whatever. Let's talk about what is the kicking different? You're wearing a suit, probably. So like, what is it that's different about open water? What should you be adjusting or not adjusting?
I'd have to go back and look at my data. I feel like my stroke feels different in the open water. Especially like ocean.
Because of the chop?
Yeah, I think I like subconsciously figure out a way to deal with it, but I don't consciously think about like, oh, I need to have a bigger, longer stroke or whatever. It doesn't feel as smooth. I can tell you that much.
Right? It's a little bit more.
But I don't know if choppy's the word, but yeah, I can feel a difference, and more so in the ocean.
Right. So I don't know for our listeners, like, it's not that it doesn't translate. It's not like you don't practice, but the open water, the stroke is a little changed.
Yeah. It's definitely a little different. I think because you've got things are moving in different directions, and you're making micro adjustments in your direction. Like there's just enough difference to need to be something you have to practice.
Yeah. You just don't have to practice flip turns in open water.
Yep.
But you have to learn them, right? Why do we need flip turns?
I don't know if you need flip turns. I think flip turns keep your momentum going in a set or in a swim. I think that flip turns take away a potential break that everybody who does an open turn gets. And I think that's probably the biggest thing is like, if you do an open turn, you get an extra breath, you glide into the wall a little bit. Like I think you have to hold your breath a little bit longer when you're doing a flip turn. And I think that maybe just that continual effort pays dividends. Now, like percentage wise, I don't know, 0.25%. I don't know. It's probably not a huge difference.
I will tell you, there are people who do open turns so much faster than my flip turns.
Well, then get better at flip turns.
I know. I'm trying. It's I got to get consistent with flip turns.
Yeah.
That's where my key is.
Yeah. I mean,
that's why CSS could be so different if I miss a few flip turns.
Okay. I mean, I swam next to a guy on Wednesday.
Not walk?
He was swimming. And he did flip turns, and like I could put a body length into him on the flip turn. Like it wasn't even close, but just practice them.
I wonder if that was my neighbor.
Was he going now?
Was he wearing red shorts, red Speedos?
No.
Okay.
How do you know what he wears?
I mean, he wears them all the time. It's a different
like
neighbor.
Yard work and stuff.
Yeah, he's picking up his newspaper, red Speedos. He's a fast swimmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy wasn't very fast.
He's friends with Gurgly over there, too. They used to play water polo together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like how you call him Gurgly.
I can't unhear it. It's so good.
That's what Marilyn just did with her drink.
Actually, your alter ego should be like Gurgly Killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. It
No.
doesn't flow. We'll come up with a better one.
Yeah.
So how important is bilateral breathing?
To bring it back. Good job, Rich.
Yeah, I don't know. We were drowning on that one. Out there too long.
I've dodged a lot of bullets so far not having bilateral breathing because we haven't had a race where we've had like a current or like choppy water.
Right.
All the races tend to usually be
to the right,
clockwise, and so I breathe to my right so
and
I can
J
see.
State was left.
Yep.
That's the only one. One of my best swims though.
I can breathe bilaterally, but I love one-sided.
Yeah, I can do it. I don't.
Right.
I breathe to the left. I'm left-handed.
I breathe to the left too, but I'm right-handed.
Same. Yeah, Greg, why you got to be different?
I breathe to the right. I'm right-handed. So it just completes the
different
circle.
We're split 50-50.
I just look at Ledecky and I'm like, that's me.
That is you.
That's you. Right?
Totally.
These similarities are amazing. Yeah, fast swimmers usually don't bilaterally breathe.
That's exactly why I don't.
Well, there you have it.
Done.
Not because I can't.
Drop the mic stand.
I don't. The only time I will I'll breathe to my right. So if I'm swimming a lot, or especially when I'm getting back into it, like I even feel it today. Since I breathe to the left, my right shoulder, in between my scapula and spine, gets tight. And the only thing that really fixes it, other than time, is breathing to that side. So I think because I'm probably rolling to that side a little bit more, my head turns to that side and reduces the tension on that side and creates some on this side. It gets some imbalance and
Gotta land a lacrosse ball.
Yeah.
I mean,
I am significantly slower when I try and bilaterally breathe.
Yeah.
Like measurably slower.
Yep.
I definitely have an asymmetrical stroke. Like when I'm in open water, I'm always veering off to one side because of my bilateral breathing, and it's probably because I pull harder or something's not the same.
I feel so bad after this episode. I just imagine James weaving through the water while holding one paddle, while holding one paddle, while breathing one-sided, while drowning. I just think so many things are in my mind.
Somehow I make
such
it
a
through.
visual.
Come to Bethany. It's a good time.
I have to see this.
You have to meet this guy. What were we saying? Oh, bilateral. Yeah, I'm slower with it. Even I've done races where I should be breathing to the right and I don't. I just deal with it. I did this. I think I talked about it a couple of episodes ago. This open ocean 2.4 mile swim, and we were swimming south. So on the Jersey Shore, the waves, big waves, like 4-footers, were
hitting
coming,
you in the face.
Were coming from the left, and I was just like, I'm just gonna grin and bear it, because I would take a breath to the right just to make sure. That was there was no sighting in front of us. So 2.4 miles, they only had 6 buoys.
Oh my god!
Do they have a boat?
How many people made it back?
I think all of them. I didn't hear about anything in the newspaper the next day, but
they didn't tell you.
You were swimming along the beach. So I would look and make sure I was the same distance away from the beach. But yeah, it was a struggle. But it's just, I'm so much more comfortable breathing my left.
Mm-hmm.
Sun, put on tinted goggles. I can't think of other reason why I need to breathe to the right. So
yeah, it's just the ocean thing. But
I think
otherwise tinted goggles work.
Yeah. I think you should be able to do it. I don't know that you have to do it.
Yeah, sometimes I'll practice a little bit just if I ever have to, but I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just have to force myself with this also.
Why?
I think just for the scenario.
Can you do it or no?
I can sort of do it,
Yeah.
but again, water, for some reason, it's randomly water will start rushing into my mouth. I'm not balanced right. I think my right arm drops in the water when I try to breathe to my left. So then I'm just sinking. It's a mess.
Yeah.
I feel like on my left side, I could just hang out there all day. My right side, I just start sinking.
Yeah. Just so his swim gets better.
Yeah.
He's just got to balance.
And I know the drill I'm supposed to do, and I just don't like. Yeah, I don't like doing that drill. That side one, that 6 kick.
Yeah.
One side,
and then you flip.
I should do the 1, 2, 3, 6 kick. 1, 2, 3, 6 kick.
Yeah, we call that triple switch.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Gurgly told me to do that one.
He told me also, and stare at the same spot each time. On when you're looking at the wall or the lane lines. I mean, I hear all the things. Just don't do them.
Just don't do them.
Because it's uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. Yeah, I agree. It's not. I don't like breathing to that side.
They just don't like breathing.
No, it's overrated.
Yeah.
All right. Anything? We hit everything on our list. Does anybody have anything else?
Well, I think we'll address a lot of these at our swim clinic, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. James, where can they go to find out about that? Or
March
the date?
So yeah, it's going to be at Bethany Community Center, Washington Township, or Township of Washington, technically. It's going to be March 4. So 4 Saturdays starting March 11th, 18th, 25th, and then April 1st. I want to get there at 7:45, so you get situated, changed, and we definitely want to be in the water by 8 because it's going till 9 o'clock. If you want to find out more info, go to www.goteamnltry.com. And I think I have to fix something on the website because I didn't see it there. But if you search swim clinic, it'll pop up. But for some reason, it wasn't showing up on the different things we offer. But just go teamnltry.com, search swim clinic. You'll see it's a $299 value for $199 right now. We have about 9 spots left. So if you're thinking about it, you're on the fence, just sign up right now. Yeah. It'll be the best decision you've ever made in your entire life. No doubt about it.
We got a couple of goodies to give people, right?
Yeah. So Power Bar is a sponsor. So we'll have some sample nutrition to give out. Magic 5, our goggle sponsor, you'll get an exclusive team coupon, and we have a little goggle pouch holder. So we'll be giving those out. And I think that's it for now, unless Hoka or Cervelo or
maybe Speedo.
Speedos. Yeah, maybe Speedos.
Oh, yes.
Speedos for everybody.
Only if they're red.
And 2 sizes, too small.
You mentioned Power Bar stuff. How many of you guys take in nutrition when you're swimming?
As in the middle?
No, like during a session.
No.
I'm usually water.
Yeah.
I have hydration. I have whatever in my water, but
nothing, no calories.
No.
Only when you tell me to.
Before, yeah. Okay. I always make sure to eat something before.
Yeah. Okay.
Not swimming. If I was to do a 2-hour sesh, I would do it.
Sesh.
Wow.
Who's this guy?
Yeah, I feel like I rarely do, unless I have something later in the day. If I'm going to do another session or sesh. But
I started that trend.
Can we not say that?
Deal. Got it. I feel like I might start trying. I feel like it's, I don't see why I wouldn't. Like I take in calories on the bike, on the run.
That's a good point.
Why not?
Definitely if you can get that C2 Max carb mix that Power Bar has.
Can we try when he's swimming with his snorkel to squeeze it down the tube?
You got to take that thing off.
You got to take his
Morphere
topper off. Yeah. I saw a clip of, I think it was like I don't know if it was the Olympics or it was an open water swim race, and the feeding stations. So like, I don't know if you've ever seen in the Tour de France how they have like the soigneurs off to the side and they pass them water bottles and stuff. Same thing happening. But they put the water bottles like on a broomstick, and like the guys swim by, grab it, float on their back, and
I
then
saw
like squeeze it and then chuck the bottle back to their guy. I was like,
that's
I saw one where it was on a buoy, and it was almost like if you get there first, you get it. Like, so a guy was swimming up to the buoy, there's water.
Survival of the fittest.
He gets on his back like an otter, drinks it, but then they're just throwing it in the water. So I'm guessing crews come to pick up these bottles.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh wow. It's like, so you have to be fast just to get it.
This was amazingly fast. Like, it was really neat to watch.
Just see a guy swim and just catch a fish in his mouth. Just keep swimming.
Yeah, so I don't think we have to go that far, but I think I'm going to start putting something in my bottles other than just water or hydration mix.
Sometimes I do nutrition in the bottles.
Yeah.
Calories
are good. So
calories in, calories out.
Yeah. All right. If we don't have anything else, we're good. Awesome radio. Okay.
Wait, should we do the who can hold their breath the longest test right now?
Oh boy.
No, we shouldn't. I feel like that's gonna.
Only if I can say. Only if I could say sesh again.
No. You want to do a holding our breath sesh right now?
Someone turn his mic off.
I could do that. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you like this episode, please subscribe. Please leave a comment or something like that. We could use some of those, some ideas on future episodes, something you'd like to hear. But we do appreciate you listening, and we'll keep this stuff coming to you.
Respond with the word sesh.
Hashtag sesh.
Drive Marilyn crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, if you
It's never
respond,
gonna end now.
only do it for that reason. That's the only acceptable reason.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great one, and we'll catch you next week. All right. This is the Quad Pod out. Thanks, everyone, for listening to the Next Level Quad Pod. We really appreciate you spending time with us and listening to everything that we have to offer. If you like what you heard, please leave us a review and a rating. Those little things go a long way towards us being able to bring you more content like this. If you'd like to learn more about what we have to offer, please go to our website at goteamnltry.com. There, you can find out about all the different things we provide that can help you reach your athletic potential. Thank you again for finding time in your busy schedule to spend some time with the Quad Pod.